This video contains major spoilers for the Suicide Squad and the first 3 episodes of Peacemaker. So, HBO Max released the first 3 episodes of Peacemaker, and I was going to do a review because practically nobody online was talking about this show. But then I heard somebody talk about how they were surprised at how the show made them care about Peacemaker after the events of the Suicide Squad, where Peacemaker was, to put it bluntly, a big ol' jerk. However, I fully predicted that James Gunn would make Peacemaker a likable character because he's done it before. But I'm not going to leave it at that. I want to examine the ways James Gunn made Peacemaker a likable and empathetic character, and talk about why I predicted that Peacemaker would be good, all in 3 sections and a conclusion, because that's apparently the golden number for essays. Section 1. The humor. One of the ways James Gunn makes Peacemaker a likable character is through humor. One way people in real life are likable is because they have a sense of humor. Not just in those video games you're always playing Daryl. In all seriousness, which is strange when talking about humor, humor can be a way to get people to like you. My thought process and a quick confirmation via Google have taught me that laughter makes you feel good. So people who can make you laugh are people who you would want to be around, because your brain wants you to be happy and comfortable, which is why comedy shows are so popular. Why do so many people have someone like Michael Scott from The Office as their favorite television character? Because The Office is funny. Likewise, a way to make Peacemaker likable is to make him funny. Whether or not you like James Gunn's humor, you've got to admit that intro is glorious. Why talk about that intro? Other than, how can I not when talking about Peacemaker? Because it's funny, and makes Peacemaker more accessible. Also, his relationship with Eagly makes him more likable for the same reason. The guy has a bald eagle as a freaking pet, and the bald eagle hugged him. If Eagly likes him, how could you not? Section 2. The Perspective. So, I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I predicted James Gunn would succeed in making Peacemaker a likable character, and I knew that for one simple reason: Yondu's arc from Guardians of the Galaxy Volumes 1 and 2. If you haven't seen those movies, don't worry, I won't spoil anything major. But to get back to why I'm talking about these movies show how James Gunn can make an unlikable character likable. Through perspective. The first Guardians of the Galaxy followed Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, and portrayed Yondu as this jerk, because that's what Star-Lord thinks of him. However, in Guardians 2, Yondu became a character people loved, because the movie focused on him, and the audience learned that he's not so bad a dad, after all. Yes, that was a Phineas and Ferb reference. Guardians 2 shows Yondu's perspective, and how he cared about and protected Peter, even if Peter didn't realize it. The movie makes Yondu an empathetic character, because it focuses on Yondu's perspective. Similarly with the Suicide Squad, from the perspective of Bloodsport and, in general, the rest of the squad, Peacemaker was shown as a heartless killer with flawed morals. Admittedly, there was some hesitation when he killed Flag, but he still seemed to think that what he did was right, though unfortunate. However, in Peacemaker, while he does have flawed morals, he's not a heartless killer. From Peacemaker's point of view, you can tell he actually cares about people, and that he regrets his actions in the Suicide Squad. Specifically in a scene in episode 2 of Peacemaker, where Peacemaker is lying down and crying, and he says that, in regards to his new team,
"Died during a computer fight, but you push away like you push everybody away."
He follows that up by saying,
"You killed Rick Flag.
And
Flag was right. Peacemaker." What a joke.
Showing not only that Peacemaker actually does care about people, but that he regrets his actions in the Suicide Squad, and that Flag's death has stuck with him. This scene may have been played for laughs, but it shows Peacemaker in a way that humanizes him, a way that the Suicide Squad didn't, because the Suicide Squad's focus wasn't on Peacemaker. This change in perspective humanizes Peacemaker in a way that the Suicide Squad wasn't able to. Section 3. The Seeds. So, this section of the video isn't necessarily about how these first 3 episodes of Peacemaker have made him an empathetic character, but rather how these episodes have made him a likable character by knowing he'll be likable by the end of the season. If that was confusing, then here's another way to look at it. The show Peacemaker has made the character of Peacemaker likable enough so that you can watch the show Peacemaker and not hate the character of Peacemaker, But the show has also set up Peacemaker to become a better character by season's end. This is Character Arc 101. How I know James Gunn isn't just doing a flat arc with the series. This is where the seeds come in. And I'm not just talking about gardening. This is a joke. Please laugh. So far there's one main seed planted, which I think will be his character arc, but I'd like to keep this video out of the realm of speculation as much as possible. Anyhow, there are two things I can point out as a seed: his self-hatred / wanting to not push away his friends, and his ideals of peace.
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
With the former, I don't really have much to go on other than how his wanting to not push people away was alluded to in the same scene of episode 2 that I used in an example in the previous section. With the latter, however, we can already see Peacemaker starting to change his ways. In the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker said he didn't care how many men, women, and children he had to kill to get peace. However, in Peacemaker, his mission in episode 3 involved killing a politician's family, and Peacemaker can't, even after learning the whole family were butterflies. In other words, character development. This is part of Peacemaker's arc, which, by the end of the season, I can pretty much guarantee will make Peacemaker a character people can more than just be good with as the show's lead, but a character people can care about. Conclusion. Peacemaker is a great show, at least the first 3 episodes are. It's not a show for everybody. The humor is very subjective. Aside from the intro, I don't know anyone who doesn't even get some level of enjoyment from that beautiful intro. But the most important thing the show needed to get right, that being the character of Peacemaker, the show most definitely got right by using humor, changing the perspective, and planting the seeds to a better character. So what do you think about Peacemaker? Did you love it? Did it just not work for you? I'd like to hear what you have to say. If you liked this video, a like would be appreciated. Subscribe if you'd like to see more video essays about whatever I want to talk about. And that's all I've got for this video. That's a wrap.